I've been really impressed by Angel Studios movies lately. They seem to have found the right mix of films that are clean and they're kind of faith-based, but they're not too preachy, and so they're accessible to all audiences. And I gotta tell you, I think they have another winner in theaters this weekend. Hey everybody, I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy, and today let's talk about The Senior.
I never finished my senior year.
Why not?
I got thrown out for fighting.
You're done!
What kind of a captain gets kicked off his own team? I wish I could go back and do it all over again. I'm eligible.
Eligible for what?
To play?
In The Senior, Michael Chiklis plays Mike Flynn, a real-life person. And it turns out that 37 years earlier, back when he was in college, he was the team captain on the football team. He was a linebacker, but he was prone to fight, and he got in one fight too many, and he gets kicked off the team and kicked out of school. And so he never got his senior year. Fast forward to 2007, and he's at his college reunion and talking with his buddies, and one of them happens to jokingly say, you know, you never did your senior year, so you've got 1 year of eligibility left. You should go try out for the football team. And that is exactly what he does. I remind you once again, this is based on a true story of this 59-year-old man who goes out for a college football team and makes the team. It's kind of out there. I mean, obviously it was an interesting story. There are all sorts of fun clips of ESPN talking about this guy back in the day, 2007, like I said. He goes to the team. He obviously is too old to really hang with these kids, gets hurt fairly early on. But the thing is, he is a very good mentor to these kids, and he helps rally them and helps them get out there and make the most of what they can be. And it's one of those feel-good movies that works pretty well. So I'm going to say for the third time, this is based on a real story, but it's what I call Hollywood true, which means you take the bones of a real story here and then you dramatize it to make it more appealing to movies. So look, I'm going to take a lot of this with a grain of salt, but I think it works well. The basic premise is there. 59-year-old man tries out for the football team, gets on the team, and then what does he do there? I think that's kind of interesting stuff here, but some of it just doesn't feel really true, even though, like I said, it's based on real events. It just feels a little overly made up for it to come across as truly believable. And perhaps the most important thing is this ends up being a sports story, but it's also a story about this man's personal growth and this idea that we get second chances in life, and when they show up, we need to take them. So there's that personal growth there, but it's always going to culminate in a big, the last game of the season, and Mike is finally going to get in the game, and what's going to happen? Is he going to get hurt, or is he going to score the winning touchdown? Somewhere in the middle there. I thought it was a lot of fun watching that. I'm actually kind of sad that they didn't show us the actual play in the credits there, but it's easy to cheer on sports movies. They always end up with you, cheering for the home team, cheering for the underdogs, and it's one of those films that will leave you leaving the theater with a rah-rah in your heart. Now, I will say that I think that the acting is kind of hit and miss here. I mean, I think Michael Chiklis is obviously a very good actor. He's done a lot of TV here. There are a couple of moments that I thought felt a little forced here. Mary Stuart Masterson playing his wife, though, I thought she was wonderful. She's this West Texas gal, and she's always referring to herself as, I'm a West Texas gal, and we don't turn tail and run. I appreciate that because I know some of women that are just like this. I thought she was very good. I also like Rob Corddry as the coach. I thought he was kind of, a poor guy in between a rock and a hard place here. I thought he was very funny. And I think that the thing Angel Studios is doing very well is they're finding these movies that are kind of Christian associated. So there is a theme here of Mike having grown up with a dad who was very abusive, but his dad later on found religion, and Mike gets his father's Bible, and we keep saying, the importance of forgiving others and forgiving yourself. That ties in directly to this movie. Those are good, solid, Christian values, but they're not the point of this movie. I guess what I'm saying is it's a feel-good film, but it never gets so preachy that non-Christians wouldn't want to see this. This is a sports movie, after all. It's about football. So there's like a kind of a religious aspect to football there too. But I appreciated the feel-good nature of this. And ultimately, I think that's what makes this film work. The Senior, look, it has, like I say, it's got some iffiness with the story and with the acting. It's not all totally believable. But in the end, it is very life-affirming. It is, very easy to cheer for not only the main character Mike, but for his whole family and for the team here. I had a blast at this movie. It may be the best movie out this week, so I'm going to give The Senior 3 stars out of 4. I've said this before. I always get a kick out of, before every Angel Studios movie, they run up a title card that says, the following movie has been approved by the Angel Guild. And it's like, well, of course it is. That's why you bought it. One of these days, I'm going to wait to see that there is no title card and Angel Studios is producing a R-rated sex comedy. No, of course it's not. They're all PG or PG-13 films that are good family films. This is another one. So I do hope you went and saw this movie. And if you did, feel free to comment below. And of course, subscribe to my channel so you always get my latest movie guide quick takes. And of course, subscribe to my podcast, Two Movie Guys. Every week, my friend Joe Fryer and I get together and we discuss all of the week's big new movies, but in greater detail. That is Two Movie Guys, wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, we are halfway through this weekend's slate of new movies, and we haven't really had time to talk about the big one yet. So coming up next, we're going to talk about this new Jordan Peele film called Him. See you then. Bye.